Hi! Recently I had an honor to be speaking on a pretty big event whereby I was actually going through some advice on technical aspects of things, how to do better video productions, do more efficient workflow when you're actually producing a video. Being someone who has a B2B background, I think efficiency is one of the most important things about doing video productions. As someone who are making a living out of making videos, I do believe that there is a benefit for me to look slightly more presentable whenever I speak in a webinar or Zoom meetings. So I just want to go through a couple of things then how I actually did the webinars. This is something will be beneficial to you if you are thinking of setting up a webinar station. So the first thing that I am using is actually the Sony a7 III. This is actually connected through HDMI cable. And this is one of the devices that is I would like to recommend if you are looking for an affordable solutions to do live stream, whereby it's basically simply converting your HDMI input into a USB output. So whenever you have a USB output, you can easily connect this USB into your laptop or your computer whatsoever, and your computer will actually recognize it as a webcam. So therefore, you have a high quality webcam in your laptop. The next thing that I want to mention is actually, of course, the audio. I'm pretty paranoid whenever you're talking about audio because you know what they say whereby people can recognize bad audio right away. So when you have a bad audio on your webinars, people will be turned off pretty much right away. So therefore, I have two audio setup. The first one is actually this XLR mic that is actually dedicated for the Sony camera. So this is actually my first audio setup, but my main audio that I'm actually using for the webinars itself is actually this Rode USB Mini. This is actually connected directly to the laptop through USB. So therefore, this is actually my main audio. But the reason why I always have two audio setups is because that in case this thing dies when I actually do the webinars, I can switch it right away to this microphone. The next thing is, of course, I always like to have a couple of backup cameras nearby, so in case that the camera dies or something, I can just simply take out the HDMI and plug it to the new camera, and I can use it right away as a second camera. There's a basic rule of lightings whereby the bigger the light source is, the softer it is. And of course, many of us will need a bit of enhancement on our faces. You know, like we are trying to hide some of the wrinkles on our faces, an example. So by having a really soft light, it will actually help you to make your complexions better. So in this case, this is my key light, which is the Nunlite Forza with a dome diffuser. Whenever you have this kind of a station, it's always good to have a practical light at the back. It gives you a bit of accent light to give a bit more outline on your back. So in this case, I'm a big fan of IKEA thread-free light, and of course I may be a bit biased since we are very fortunate to have been working with IKEA for many years, but I do believe this is actually an excellent solution if you are setting up a YouTube stations or webinar stations, and you can change the color accordingly. In this case, of course, I love red color and orange color, so therefore I can change this to orange. And at the same time, of course, next time if you have a certain theme that you have in mind, let's say you want to change everything to pink, to purple, you can easily change this using the controller. I actually have a small video explaining about how to use this light separately. That is all the basic setup that I have. The next thing is how I actually do the webinars is I am connecting all the camera setup into OBS. I was actually trying to give a bit of inputs on how to do efficient workflow for video editings. So therefore, I need to showcase some Adobe Premiere editings during the webinars. And I always want the audience to be able to see my face at the same time look at my computer. So I don't really like to show my screen directly. You know, like when you are presenting through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meetup, you can simply share your desktop. But I don't think that is ideal because sometimes I have my notes on my desktop and sometimes I have my other information on the desktop that I don't want to show. So therefore, I always connect it through OBS. So from there, I can actually guide and decide what I want to show to the viewers. I do believe this is pretty much an efficient workflow when you're actually doing a small size webinars, and probably something that you can easily replicate on your own station. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.